Welcome to the Miss Lalana's Math Game Show, where you, and you get to win what? Absolutely nothing, but you do get to get smarter and smarter the more and more you practice. So before we begin, make sure you get your competition right now. Go get them right now. Maybe it's a parent you want to compete against. Maybe it's a friend. Go get that friend. Or an enemy. Go get them right now. A younger brother, sister, a cousin, whoever. Go get them now. Make sure everyone has something to write on, your scrap paper, your notebook, and a pencil. All right, now before you begin, you need to make up the rules with everyone that you're playing against. Remember, my rule is that you have to show all your work to get the point. So you can't just write the answer and just pick a random answer. You need to show your work. The work needs to match the answer that you pick. So that's my rule. Maybe your rule for your game would be whoever gets the answer right first gets the point, or maybe everyone who answers it right within a certain time frame gets the point. So decide that in your team, in your group right now, and I'm ready to begin. So whenever we're ready, let's go. Number one. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Today's topic for our game show is adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. All right, number one, we have 2 2/3 plus 3 1/3. You can either solve this two ways. You can either add the mixed numbers by adding the mixed numbers, or you can use the model to add. Remember, we talked about different strategies, different ways to add. As long as you add it right, I don't care what method you use. Your answer choices are A, 5 2/3, B, 6 1/3. C, 6, or D, 6 2/3. Pause it if you need more time. The correct answer is C, 6. Now, if you notice for this one, I did not work out the addition by adding the whole numbers and the mixed numbers. I used my model. So for this one, the blue, 2 2/3. So I shaded 2 2/3 with the blue highlighter. And for 3 1/3, I highlighted that. I colored it in orange. And I have 6 holes. All right, thumbs up if you got that right. All right, number 2. 3 1/4 minus 1 2/4. Same thing, you can either subtract the mixed numbers by subtracting the mixed numbers, or you can subtract using the model. Your answer choices are A, 2 1/4, B, 1 3/4, C, 1 1/4, or D, 2 3/4. All right, if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. If not, the correct answer is... The answer is B, 1 3/4. Now, let me explain what I did, because I completely messed this up when I worked it out. That's why I tell you to use your pencil. All right, so do you see 3 1/4 right here? So I shaded in 3. That's 1 hole, 2 hole, and then the 3 hole, and the 1/4. All right, so ignore these X's that I marked. So do you see 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 hole, and then the 1/4? That's 3 1/4. And then I saw 1 2/4, and then I shaded that. But then I forgot. Guess what I was supposed to do? Subtract. So ignore the orange part. All right, ignore that. And then I need to take away 1 hole and 2/4. So here's the 1 hole. I cross that out. And then 2/4. Well, I start over here. 1/4, 2/4. So then what's left is this one. And then the 3/4 here. So there's 1 3/4. All right, so let me, you know what? Yeah, I might need to go ahead and erase that. All right, so remember, don't look at that. All right. Moving on. Number 3. All right. What happened to my music? What happened to the music? All right. We have 1/2 plus 1/6. You can either use the model to add, or you can add the fractions. Now, remember, we have different denominators, so there's a special rule for that. And look at the pictures. We have to make those what? Equivalent fractions. Remember, equivalent fractions, okay? Your choices are A, 2/8, B, 1/4, C, 2/3, or D, 3/4. Go ahead and work that out. Pause it if you need more time. The correct answer is, bam, C, 2/3. Now I'm going to show you the 2 ways that I work that out, okay? So the first way, using just looking at the fractions. I'm going to multiply that 2 times 6, which gives me a denominator of 12. 1/2 becomes 6/12, and 1/6 is 2/12. We add that together, I get 8/12. And we simplify by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 4, and I get 2/3. Now, to add using the model, this one's a little bit different, because remember from earlier, we had the same denominators. With these, the pieces are not the same size. So we need to make them the same size pieces, okay? So do you see how this is 1/2? And it's going by rows. And this one is 6s going by columns. So I need to do what to this one? I need to do 6 columns like this over here. And then what do I need to do with this one? I need to do 1/2 for that one. So let me show you. So that's what I did. Do you see that? Hold on, I'm going to show you. So you see this 1/2? I made it into 6. And I just shaded the top part so you could just see it right there. And then for this one, I just did 1/2 right here. And look, you see how that one was shaded? That one shaded over there. So now if you count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 12s here. Same thing right there. And then 2 12s here, which gives me 2/3. Well, it gives me 8 12s, and I simplify it as 2/3. All right. Who got the point for that one? All right, moving on to number 3. 3/5 minus 1/2. So I would do this the same way as you did question number 3, by either subtracting the fractions. Now remember, unlike denominators, so you need to use those strategies to make them have the same denominator, or you can take that model and do it how I did the other one, by making them have the same size shapes or pieces, same size pieces. So I have 3/5 minus 1/2. Is that A, 1/10, B, 2/3, C, 2/10, or D, 1/5? The correct answer is A, 1/10. I use 10 as my denominator. So 3/5 is equal to 6/10. 1/2 is equal to 5/10. And when I subtract, I get 1/10. And I do not need to simplify because it is already simplified. Yeah. All right. Now, the same thing I did here. Do you see this right here? The 3/5. So I just need to cut this one in half. So you see I cut that one in half right here. And then for this one, I need to cut it that way into 5ths. Right there. Okay. So here are 5/10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since I'm subtracting, I just crossed it out here. I crossed out the 5 from this, crossed it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm left with 1. So there's that 1/10. All right, so if you got that right, thumbs up. If not, ask someone in the group that you're working with to help you with that, okay? And if no, oh my gosh, if no one in the group understood how I explained it, come see me, all right? Come see me so I can help you with that. All right. Number 2/3 plus 3/5. Is it A, 5/8, B, 1 1/5, C, 8/15, or D, 1 4/15? Now, again, remember they don't have the same denominator, so we need to find a common denominator. And don't forget to always do what? Simplify your answers. All right, if you need more time, go ahead and hit pause. If not, the correct answer is D. All right, so let me explain to you two different ways that we can find that answer. So right here, here's one way. I'm going to multiply to 3 and 5 to get 15 as my denominator. 3 times 5 is 15, so I do 2 times 5, 10. 5 times 3 gives me this 15, so 3 times 3 is 9. We're going to add that 10 and 9 together, and I get 19 over 15, which is a what? That is an improper fraction. So when I divide right here, 19 divided by 15, I get 1 whole and 4 left over. So that's 1 4/15. All right, now the other way you can solve that down here, the other strategy is that crisscross multiply, add and subtract. You're going to do 3 times 5, which is 15. We're going to crisscross multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. 3 times 3 is 9. Add that together, and I get 19/15, which is the same thing we did up here. So when you divide that, you're going to get the same answer. Okay, hold on. That looks weird. That's a 1 4/15. It kind of looked like a dividing thing. All right. Okay, please update me on the scores. Please tell me what everybody's points are right now. Okay, is anyone in the lead? Do we have a tie? All right, so we are halfway through the show. We have 5 questions to go. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, 5/6 minus 1/2. Same strategies as when we just added with that last question. Remember, you don't have the same denominators, so we need to find the same denominator, convert to make them have equivalent fractions, subtract, simplify. Your answer choices are A, 1/3, B, 1, C, 5/12, or D, 3/4. If you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. If not, the correct answer is... The correct answer is A, 1/3. All right, so let me explain it right here. 2 strategies I'm going to show you. I have 6 and 2. It's not the same denominator, so I can do 6 times 12. Actually, I'm going to show it to you down here. 6 times 2 is 12. Crisscross multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. 6 times 1 is 6. Subtract 10 minus 6, I get 4. And if we simplify, we divide the numerator and the denominator by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now, same thing here. I could use 12 as my denominator. But when I look at 6 and 2, I can think, oh, 6 works for both of them, so let's use 6. So this is going to be what? 6 times 1. And look, it's 5/6. It's the same thing. I don't need to change it. It's 5/6. 1/2, we multiply times 3, so I get 3/6. Subtract that, I get 2/6. And when I simplify by dividing by 2, 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. 1/3. So I get the same answer with whichever strategy I use, as long as you work it out the right way. All right, thumbs up if you got that right. All right, number 7. Number 7, I have 4 and 7/8 plus 1 and 1/2. Your answer choices are A, 5 and 4/5, B, 6 and 3/8, C, 6 and 3/4, or D, 5 and 9/10. You can pick whichever strategy you want to use, whichever one's easier for you and more efficient. Do that, well, as long as it's right. All right, now if you are really struggling with this one, and once I help you and you still don't get it, get someone in the group to help you, okay? And if you know how to do this and someone in the group, even though they're your competition right now, make sure you help them after the game, okay? If you need more time, pause the video. All right, if not, the correct answer is B, 6 and 3/8. All right, now I did it 2 different ways. Let me show you which way am I going to show you first. All right, let me show you up here. I have 4 and 7/8 plus 1 1/2. I'm going to add my whole numbers first. So 4 and 1 makes 5. Then I do 7/8 and 1/2. Well, the 8 and the 2 are not the same denominator, so I'm going to use 8. So 7/8, it stays the same, 7/8 right here. And the 1/2 is 4/8. We're going to add that. I get 11/8. Divide, and I get 1 and 3/8. But guess what? I need to add that to that 5 wholes, so I get 6 and 3/8. The other way, down here, same thing. Add the whole numbers first. I get 5. I do 8 times 2. This is the crisscross, multiply, add, subtract way. 8 times 2 is 16. Then I crisscross. 7 times 2 is 14. 8 times 1 is 8. Add that together. I get 22 over 16. Simplify that. Divided by 2. Divided by 2, I get 11/8. Same thing up here. We're going to divide 1 and 3/8. Don't forget to add that to that whole number. And I get 6 and 3/8. If you need more help with that, make sure you ask me for help or ask someone else for help. If not, you can find some other videos, lots of videos on this type of practice. All right, almost done. We are on number 8. 5 and 1/4 minus 2 and 3/4. Your answer choices are A, 3 1/2, B, 3 and 1/4, C, 2 1/2, or D, 2 and 3/4. I'm going to peek at the answer real quick. Oh, look, the denominators are the same, so you don't need to find a common denominator. But guess what? I'm going to give you a hint. Look at this. 1/4 and 3/4. I can't subtract 3/4 from 1/4, so I need to borrow from that 5 whole. Oh, you should know how to do that. I showed you how to do that. All right, work it out. If you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. If not, I have the correct answer for you. The correct answer is C, 2 1/2. All right, I'm going to show you 2 ways, okay? The first way up here is I have 5 and 1/4 minus 2 and 3/4. We said earlier, I just told you we can't subtract that 1 minus 3, so I need to regroup. I need to borrow from that 5 whole. Now, 5 whole, this is different than subtracting and regrouping whole numbers. 5 whole, I have a guess. Somebody in the class. I think he's trying to come get the answers. He's just trying to be nosy. He's trying to be on camera. All right, he has to go. I see you tomorrow. All right. 1 whole is the same thing as 4/4. So I'm going to add this 4/4 to this 1/4. So now I have 5/4. So 4 whole, wow, my finger. 4 whole minus 2 whole is 2 wholes. And then 5/4 minus 3/4 is this 2/4. And then when I simplify, I get 2 1/2. Now, if you struggle with regrouping, I'm going to show you a strategy. That strategy is to convert to an improper fraction right here. So you don't even have to worry about regrouping. 5 1/4 turns into 21 over 4, because I do 4 times 5 is 20 plus 1. That's 21 over 4. Minus, this is 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3, 11 fourths. Subtract that, I get 10 fourths. Simplify by dividing by 2, I get 5 over 2. That's an improper fraction, and when we divide, I get 2.5. All right, now raise your hand if you prefer this strategy where you have to regroup. Raise your hand if you prefer this strategy where you don't have to regroup, just make them improper fractions. And that works for adding too, okay? Are you done? All right, done with that one. 2 questions to go. Now the next 2 questions, they're challenge questions. So you can make these questions worth 2 points each if you want to. Make that decision as a group. All right, which one here is? Number 9. All right, number 9. The table below shows the weight of several vehicles. Car 1, the weight is 9 1/3 tons. Car 2, 4 5/8 tons. Car 3, 9 1/3 tons. Car 4, 3 1/3 tons. What is the combined weight of all the cars? I'll give you a clue. What do you need to do? You need to add all those mixed numbers together. Is your answer A, 25 1/3, B, 25 8/11, C, 26 5/8, or D, 26 7/24? I'll let you look at that a little bit closer. That's 9 1/3 plus 4 5/8 plus 9 1/3 plus 3 1/3. Now, I don't think I did it on my card, but 2 ways you can do it. You can add all 4 fractions together. Just find a common denominator for all of them. Or you can add the ones that have the same denominator first together and then add them together at the end. All right, if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. If not, I have the answer for you. The correct answer is C, 26 5/8. All right, I showed you one way right here where I used 24 as a denominator and I converted them, added them together. I ended up with a mixed number. And then I simplified. All right, see if you can figure that out on your own without me explaining it to you. Look at my work, figure it out. If you have not, ask a friend to help you, okay? All right, so did you make that worth 1 point or 2 points? All right, give me an update on the points because we have 1 question to go. Give me everybody's points. Who's in the lead? Do we have any ties? Do you want this last question to be worth 5 points? Oh, you can make it worth 5 points. Here we go. Make that decision first. This was a challenge, but it's still easy. The table shows how many milliliters of ink were in pens. Pen 1 has, what's that, 7 1/3 milliliters of ink. Pen 2 has 4 2/4 milliliters of ink. Pen 3 has 1 4/6 milliliters of ink. Pen 4 has 7 1/3 milliliters of ink. What is the combined capacity of all the pens? What do we need to do? Add them all together. And remember, when we don't have the same denominator, we need to find a common denominator. Write those down. Work it out. Your answer choices are A, 19 1/2, B, 19 2/3, C, 20 2/3, or D, 20 5/6. All right, if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. Don't forget, we have so many strategies to work these out. I hope you got it right. The correct answer is D, 20 5/6. Are you calling me right now to tell me you won? I think so. All right, well, if that's you calling me, leave me a message, send me a text, and let me know that you won. Yeah. All right, so we are done with today's game show. Don't forget, you need to do that. And you can try it tonight or try it tomorrow. Try it again the next day. The other game shows, you could work those out again, maybe with somebody else that you want to compete against. But remember, don't cheat. Don't cheat. Don't remember the answers. We have math test prep 1 through 10. You should have done that. 11 through 20, you should have done that. 21 through 30, you should have done that. 31 through 40s for today, and then 41 through 50s tomorrow. If you have not done those, I think I'll upload some tutorial videos after this one. Remember, keep practicing. Get all these tasks done right here. I love you.